All right, welcome to the Town of Sykesville Planning Commission meeting for Monday, October 6, 2025. Welcome to all present. First order of business is approval of the August 4th minutes. Any comments or issues on those? And I understand we can call for a vote even though there's only 4 of us here. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll motion.
Ken's motioning approval. Seconding? Brandon? All in favour? Aye? Good to go with those. Okay. So we're moving on to county updates. Our new liaison, Carlisle, am I right? Carlisle, well welcome Carlisle.
You need to move that computer.
Oh, would you like me to stand?
Yeah, if you don't mind. It's easier for a lot.
Hearing point of view.
I don't get a podium at Westminster. Okay, I have a few things. Okay. Water and sewer, the spring 2025 amendment includes Hampstead, Tawnytown, Union Bridge, and New Windsor. Board of County Commissioners voted to adopt the amendment, and the amendment was sent to MDE for final review and approval. The fall 2025 amendments include Mount Airy and Tawnytown. So text amendments, this section was updated by Claire. Board of County Commissioners sent zoning text amendments to the Planning and Zoning Commission for their review and recommendation. Topics include the adequate public facilities ordinance and the use off the premises signs. The Commission will begin and continue their discussions in October. On September 4th, the Board of County Commissioners voted to amend the Employment Campus District. Revisions will make the planned development of properties in this district more flexible and simplified. A couple of master plan updates. Master plan work groups on housing, economy, and agriculture met over the summer to discuss and make recommendations to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Staff from Comprehensive Planning will provide an overview of each work group's meeting approach during the Planning and Zoning Commission that was held on October 1st. On November 5th, the work group reports will be shared with the Commission. After receiving the work group reports, the Planning and Zoning Commission will consider them as part of a broader effort to review, update, and recommend changes to the county master plan. There will be many opportunities for the public to give feedback throughout this process, which is expected to continue through 2026. Any annexation questions should be forwarded to Javier Toro. Those are all of my updates.
Okay, I have one question. You may not be able to elaborate, I don't know. The adequate public facilities text amendment, have you any idea what that concerned in terms of changing that particular ordinance? It's okay if you don't know.
I don't know. I'm wondering when that was reviewed. I'm seeing if that was. I think if you wanted to reach out to Claire, she's the one who was reviewing those amendments. Yeah, and so it'll be going through discussions in October. I'm wondering. I don't know exactly when that will be like a topic for commission, but yeah. So yeah, I'll check in with Claire about it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that.
All right. It's just for purely information from my point of view. I just like to know what it is that's being shifted on that.
Yeah, I'll ask Claire. I can send you
Sounds good.
information about it. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All
right. Well, thanks again. Okay, moving on to our business agenda, and I'm going to turn that over to Kevin, who can lead us through it.
Yep.
Thanks.
So staff thought that this meeting would be a good time to just get the planning commission together and give a brief update on some town projects, and then some Board of Zoning Appeal applications that we received as well, which all pertain to the BZA things, all pertain to the Warfield property. So for starters, the ongoing projects, so the Enclave, the final plan for this subdivision is going through town and county review processes. Feedback from some of these agencies did result in the developers proposing to eliminate the Town Park Drive loop, and I'll pull it up on the screen in a minute so we can take a look at it. But then replacing that loop with an enlarged neighborhood square green space. This updated configuration, again, is attached to the staff report, And the idea is it'll serve a couple purposes. One, it'll reinforce the community-oriented design principles that are encouraged by the pattern book that we approved for this subdivision. It allows some space for additional neighborhood amenities and landscape features, provides additional sidewalks and improves pedestrian connectivity. It reduces the overall impervious area of the total project, so that would eliminate the need for any stormwater infrastructure within the actual neighborhood square itself. And because I know parking is always a hot topic, this new design maintains the same number of guest parking spaces that were provided in the initial design. So this was admittedly a late addition to the agenda. I just got this information last Thursday when I was putting this stuff together to send out to everyone, which is why it was kind of just added into the updates. But the Planning Commission is encouraged to provide any feedback that you have just on the proposed update, and then I can pass that along to the developers, or if there's any questions, I can ask that of the developers, and then that can be used to inform the overall plan, which again, we know ultimately will be brought back before the Planning Commission for a review and approval. So I will pull it up. I know Cheryl already got a chance to look at it. But
Do you know when that's likely to happen? Because it seems forever since we last saw these guys.
yeah. So I'm not sure what the timeline is. I've gotten a few county comment letters so far, but still waiting on the majority of approvals, including stormwater, which we know is always the bear. I don't think this round of stormwater should be as intensive as the previous round, but they still have to get several approvals before it comes back. So it just depends on what the time, how quickly it moves through the county process. And again, will most likely hinge on the stormwater. So this is what we know is what we currently approved preliminary plan showing the Town Park Drive loop right here with a small green space in the middle. And then what they are now proposing is getting rid of that loop altogether and just making this one big green space here, and then all of these units will be accessed just through this alley in the back. So if Planning Commission has any thoughts, we can discuss it this evening, or if you need more time to think about it, certainly email me.
So the units are accessed by vehicles through the back, but there's pedestrian access through the front.
Correct. So this is all going to be sidewalk, pedestrian access for each, I guess, front stoop, and then they've always been rear loaded townhouses. So vehicle access was always for the rear.
Right.
I mean, there was some pedestrian parking along the loop here, which has then now been replaced with these guest spots up here, as well as some parallel parking here and here. But yeah, so there's sidewalks go all the way through, and then they said they anticipate adding in some amenity packages and stuff in there, but they just wanted to get some feedback first before they went too far down that road. So I think this came as a result of feedback from one, stormwater, and then two, I know our engineers had comments on some of the pedestrian connectivity and sidewalks and crossings and stuff around that green space, because if that was actually going to be used as a pedestrian area, it just didn't seem great. So I think a few different folks had comments, and they kind of led them to rethink their design there, and this is what they are now proposing.
Is this anything to do with makeup for the failures of the previous stormwater plan on the park side?
Yeah. I'm not sure. My guess, actually, I don't want to speculate. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. They did not mention that, but again, they did say the additional impervious space will mean there shouldn't have to be any stormwater features in this area, which is nice. In the sense of being able to use it as an actual community amenity and gathering space.
Is it the town's responsibility or the homeowners association responsibility for maintenance? And
that'll eventually fall on the HOA once all that gets turned over. So I think the only pieces that'll be town responsibility are the village, or this road right here, and then this Town Park Drive will be public roads, and then these will all be considered alleyways that'll be maintained by the HOA, and then the green space will also be HOA.
Okay.
It's pretty much the same way that we enclose.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So if you have any thoughts, concerns, questions, let me know.
looks good.
I'll be happy to pass it along.
I like it better.
Yeah, me
And
too. Much
the
better.
other one was really crowded in there.
Yeah.
The,
It just seemed like there was more roads than they needed.
The developers, when they reached out to me about this, they actually seemed really excited about the idea, and we're hoping that we were excited about it too. So that's good. I'll let them know that you guys think it's cool, but we didn't want the first time that you guys saw this to be when the final plan came for, review and approval, so just have to make sure we got this before you, before that, but, alright.
Yep. Great.
If there are no concerns or questions about that, we will keep moving along then. So the next update regarding the Sykesville train station, so this project's still moving along. Representatives are still working with the Maryland Historic Trust on figuring out compromises on the changes they want to make to the building without harming the historic integrity. Right now, I think most of the discussions are about the enclosure to the rear platform area and just finding a way to do that can work for the business, but also maintains the historic integrity and falls in line with the rules and guidelines of the Maryland Historic Trust. The streetscape at the south end of downtown. So phases of this project that are either complete or nearly complete, and all these are basically, complete at this point, are the Baldwin Drive and the Sykesville Station parking lot improvements, the Oklahoma Avenue improvements with the new pavers as well as the removable bollards. The visitor center, so some additional improvements have gone on around that, some new specialized pavements around the visitor center, and then the rear of the French twist as well. There's some landscaping done. Some future phases include improvements to the south end of Main Street itself, mostly focused on pedestrian infrastructure, and then improvements to that shared parking lot that's used by the distillery, the Vinyl Main, and 7611 Main Street, which is the DSC building. And then, so that phase is anticipated to begin early next year, but we don't want to have that area ripped up during the holidays.
There's only about 4 parking spaces there, aren't there?
Yeah, there's not many.
So the improvements are going to be focused more on making it more accommodating as a community gathering space, because they have their Friday and Saturday events down there. There's a lot of people that go down there, especially in the spring and summer, obviously, and congregate in that area. So it's and it's the parking lot's real patchy. Could use some work. So that is mostly going to be focused towards the community gathering aspect, as opposed to trying to wedge in additional parking where there's not really any space down there.
And the Oklahoma Avenue removable bollards, they're there for town events, so that can be closed off for.
Yeah. So the idea there is to turn that into a pedestrian-only corridor during certain events, and even events where Main Street might still be open. Certain merchants can hold smaller events right there on that corridor. We could put the bollards up and kind of close that off. During certain times of the year, so that was the idea there.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
For the French twist, so if you guys remember, the applicant's representatives brought, an idea to the Planning Commission a little while back just to get some initial feedback for a addition to the rear of that building. That has since gotten approved from our Historic District Commission. So since then, they've just been working with architects and engineers to produce a formal site plan to bring to the Planning Commission. So we've been in conversation with them, so they are actively working on that. So I'm not sure how much longer they need to produce that plan, but as soon as it's done, we'll have it before you guys.
Good.
The service garage up the street, 7306 Springfield Avenue, aka the Joy property. So I did reach out to the property owners there. I was told that they still anticipate moving forward with the approved site plan, just with a different tenant now. So I guess there were some, I don't want to say issues that just the current tenant didn't work out, or I guess the former tenant now didn't work out. Their lease just recently expired, so I was told that they're going to get back in there again, clean up the everything around it, clean up the inside some more, and then get a new tenant in there who will then go with the approved site plan. But they're adamant that they wanna try to go with the site plan that we approved.
Okay, well, all good. It's just that there was such a furor about that at the time.
Yes.
It seemed like so, insistent and town meetings on it, and then it just stopped.
Yeah, it seemed to be right around the time we approved everything.
Yep.
Yes.
It was quiet. But,
And it looks worse now than it ever did.
Yeah,
Frankly,
so,
I looked at it
but I
today.
did reach out to
The
them.
sidewalk's nice.
It is.
Yeah, I did let them know that people have reached out to staff about the current conditions. I passed that message along to them, and they said that they will be out there. They said as soon as the tenant got all this stuff out, they'll be out there doing something.
Good.
And then the last one is Maryland 851 dedication request. So following all the infrastructure improvements and repaving for Maryland 851, which is Springfield Avenue from 32 down to Main Street, and then Main Street from that same intersection down to the bridge. The town did put in a request to the Maryland Department of Transportation to take over that road, to turn that into a town road. That request did also come with a request for additional funding to the town so that we can do some other improvements in the right of way, improve some sidewalks and stuff, other infrastructure improvements around the road itself. I anticipate that request to be granted, not imminently, so probably within, at least a few months before there's any real movement on that, but the request has been made, now that the infrastructure work's done, it's got fresh paving, and hopefully shouldn't need a whole lot of work for quite a while, at least on the actual road itself. So before I move on, I just want to check any questions on projects, current projects that we got going on.
No, that was good. Thanks.
Cool. So then we'll move on to some pending Board of Zoning Appeals requests and applications. So these hearings, all three hearings, we have tentatively scheduled right now for the same date for October 29th. We try to get all three applications in there. And I just want to note that I don't want to go into too much detail on these yet, just because we're still working on putting together staff reports and packets to send to the board members. But obviously wanted to keep you guys updated on what's going on there, because a lot of what's happening in these appeals would potentially likely have an impact on you guys. You guys would eventually have to weigh in on some of this at some point. So the first is an appeal of Planning Commission determination. So the applicants submitted a request to appeal various determinations made by the Planning Commission during the July 7th, 2025 hearing. So again, that was one where their most recent concept plan was denied. If you remember, the motion was to deny the plan because it was inconsistent with the town code, and then along with that were some recommendations for future plans. It seems like a lot of this appeal focuses heavily on those recommendations, and then also on some stuff that staff actually noted in the staff report as well. So again, we'll see. There wasn't a whole lot of details in their application, so we'll hopefully get some more information either before the hearing or on the hearing date itself. Another one is they submitted a request to the BZA for a zoning variance to allow for a modification to the required land use percentages that are established for the PEC zoning district. So they did actually mention that, I think, during the July meeting, that they thought that was an avenue they could go down.
Well, we recommended that as well, didn't we?
Yes.
So we had
I think our recommendation, and I could be wrong, but I think our recommendation to them was to go to council for a text amendment.
Okay.
But I could be wrong, because I know that there was at least discussions of both.
If they go to the BZA and the BZA says, well, yeah, that's a reasonable request, it still comes back here. We're still allowed to set our own land use percentages, regardless of what that decision is.
Yeah, well, so this is an interesting one that we've been talking with the lawyer about what the implications are, what either way. Again, I don't want to get into too much detail about those discussions right now, just because it's we're still kind of having that. But the request is the requested land use percentages that they are going to the BZA for. They don't match exactly what they proposed in their last concept plan, but it's pretty close. So I guess you can kind of use your imagination for what they're asking for there, because it is close to the percentages that they have proposed, with just some minor tweaks. And then the last one is an appeal of the zoning administrator's decision. So the zoning administrator, in this case our town manager, had made the decision that development on parcel B cannot proceed without an updated concept and preliminary plan, which reflects the proposed changes to the overall approved preliminary plan. That decision was made based on the amendment section of the PEC section of our town code, which basically states that any amendment to an approved plan needs to go through the same three-step process of concept, preliminary, and final. So they are appealing that decision, or this enforcement of that section of the town code, in hopes of allowing the development of parcel B, the assisted living facility, to proceed with before actually updating the plan. So those are the three applications we have so far. Again, we're still working on putting together staff reports and information to send out to the board. But as soon as all that's put together, obviously that becomes public information, so we can send stuff out to you. And if you guys have questions about it, you can always reach out to me, and I'll be happy to discuss as much as I can in this leading up to the hearing, and then we can go from there. And obviously I'll provide updates in the Planning Commission meeting following the hearings as well, so that we know where we stand on all of these.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, that sounds like an interesting meeting.
Yeah, so I'll get on that, which should be, typically we don't stream live stream BZA hearings. I'm not sure if we're streaming that one or not, but I do know that the CMC folks are going to, at the very least, record it for us, and then it will be available.
And that's on the 29th?
That is on the 29th.
I might make myself available that night.
So 7 p.m. on the 29th.
All right, okay.
So We anticipate that potentially being a relatively long hearing with 3 applications on the agenda, but figured it's better to try to get them all at least heard or on the agenda for one. And then
Yeah.
there, so
Sounds good.
that's all I got.
All right.
Any other questions or concerns?
No.
So I love this, like, the summary. It's like it's really helpful for me to like understand all the ongoing projects, because every month we receive like the write-ups, the staff reports. It's like a ton of amazing context. Like, it sets you up perfectly for the month. But kind of like what I'm lacking is that overarching like view.
Sure.
And I'm wondering, and then we even have the Agenda Center and the Sykesville like website with all the stuff you send us for all of the commissions. And I'm wondering if like, is there any way to, or who might be best to engage to like reconfigure some of the way this information potentially is like displayed? So like, imagine like a spreadsheet that shows like all of the ongoing things and their statuses. So it's like we can achieve this bird's eye view that you walked us through like continuously.
Yeah, I mean that's something I guess obviously we don't have currently, but I'm sure we could integrate that into
Oh,
the
cool.
website without too much.
It would be helpful.
Yeah.
Without too much headache, or at least having small blurbs or just small
Yeah.
updates about these ongoing
Okay.
projects. I'm sure that's something we can
Cool,
put
cool.
together.
Yeah, especially a lot of them, like you were saying, like they're interconnected in a
Right.
pretty deep way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'll run that.
Oh,
by
cool,
you.
cool. Thank you.
We'll discuss that as staff and see if we can put something up on the website.
Cool,
that
thank you.
Continuously updates those things.
Cool. Town updates. Is there anything that's an agenda item? But I'm guessing we've probably covered all
you
of
just
that.
got them all. Yeah, that's basically it.
All right. That being the case, anybody got anything else they need to question, say? All right. I move that we adjourn. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Brandon seconds. All in favour? Aye. And we're done. Thank you for that, Kevin. That's very informative and good. And thank you, Carlisle, and all that good stuff. And that was relatively quick. And that's the best.